Well, welcome back to the second most iconic part of WeatherTech Raceway here at Laguna Seca. It's Championship Saturday here at Laguna Seca, and it may have already been decided based on qualifying. And on the pole position, doing everything he needs to do to win the 2022 championship is Will Power. Alongside is Callum Ilott, who has been knocking on the door all year long and appears to have found the pace in the Juncos Hollinger entry. Second row is Alexander Rossi and Romain Grosjean, a full Andretti sweep, but Alexander Rossi has just one day to go as an Andretti driver. Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward are looking like they are on the fast track to be teammates, at least for next year, possibly the year after, depending on how the court case goes. David Malukas is still so fast in seventh, alongside Scott McLaughlin with an outside shot at the championship. Felix Rosenquist and Marcus Ericsson are on row 5. Ericsson spun in qualifying, and that really hurt him. Simon Pagenaud and Elio Castroneves an all-Meyer-Shank sweep in the 6th row. Scott Dixon starting in lucky 13th, looking again with an outside chance of winning the championship alongside Rinus VeeKay. Connor Daly's in a rebuilding year for next year. Christian Lundgaard did not qualify very well. Kyle Kirkwood and Colton Herta, the surprise. We thought Colton Herta was going to be absolutely on top. He is not, in 18th spot. Graham Rahal alongside of Devlin DeFrancesco. Jack Harvey alongside of Takuma Sato. Jimmy Johnson out-qualifies Dalton Kellett, Josef Newgarden, and Simona Di Silvestro. Newgarden spun in qualifying, and that cost him mightily. And let's talk about that spin, because I was in the corkscrew when it happened, and Newgarden went off, and when he went off, he stalled the car. That brought out the red flag in IndyCar, parked his car, and took away his 2 fastest laps for that session. Newgarden starting at the back totally changes the dynamic of the championship, in my opinion, especially with Dixon starting in the mid-pack. It's going to be a strategy race, which is going to hopefully play into all of the championship contenders' favors that haven't got a really good shot of beating Will Power. Now, if Will Power finishes 3rd, he wins the championship. There's no doubt about that. The question mark is going to be the strategy. It sounds like it's going to be a pit-stop heavy race, 3, 4, maybe even 5-stop strategies. The key is going to be the black tires tomorrow. If a team managed to save 4 sets, they're probably looking in pretty good shape. If they only save 3, well, they might be in trouble. And the red tires, forget about them. They're not very good this week. They'll be lucky to get 10 laps out of them, but that's what they're going to need for the strategy, is to get at least 10 laps on the go. The first stint with the reds, 10 laps. If you start on the blacks, you're going to have to do a red stint in the middle. That might not be the preferred strategy, but I think some guys who are swinging for the fences are going to have to do that. A Josef Newgarden might be a guy who starts on blacks and tries to get up through the field as quickly as he possibly can. We'll have to see starting tomorrow, and especially with the tire allocation. So I spoke to some drivers, particularly we'll start with the championship contenders. Now, I didn't quite get Scott Dixon, but I did get everybody else. So here are the championship contenders talking about what they need to do to win this championship.
Someone else wins it, I have to finish 3rd, so it starts with qualifying. Definitely qualifying at the very front is going to help a lot. It's got to be extremely focused all weekend.
I mean, it would mean everything, It's I live here in America now. I've been sort of fully committed myself to IndyCar racing, and I love it. I've enjoyed my 4 years here so much, and this year it's been great. I felt like last year was a breakthrough for me, winning my first races in IndyCar, and this year it's been just building on that, and obviously winning the big one was the sort of the cherry on the top or whatever. But yeah, since then we've been fighting for that championship, and I feel like we've been strong. Unfortunately, the last few weekends, we haven't really been as strong as we should have been, and that's why we've been slipping a bit behind. But we still have a shot, and we go to this weekend trying to win the race, and then we see where things shake out, what other people are up to. But we need to finish strong and maximize our weekend. That's important.
I think we just got to be quick. We have been quicker in the past, and for us focusing on winning the race is really, I think, where we need to be, as far as mental approach. Kind of can't control the points. Situation where we are where we are. Wish we were closer, but in some ways it's kinder to us because we can just focus on trying to win the race. We don't have a weekend to really manage. If I had my choice, I would rather be in the lead and trying to manage the championship. but I also like this mental side where you can just go for it and see what happens.
The best thing I can do is just win, and yeah, it's a cool position. Well, it's not the best position to be in. Obviously, I want to win the championship, but like the momentum we've had the last few races, like I feel really excited for what we've got ahead, and not only just this race, but like next year. And yeah, look, really proud of the group to be even in the fight. Whatever happens, happens. I think we've had a reasonable year, and things go our way in some spots. You know, we might have been a little bit closer, but we've showed plenty of promise, and just excited to get out there and see what we got.
And finally, here's some of the other drivers who are trying to win tomorrow. And as you guys know, the drivers really seem to give me really good answers, and these are no exception. Here are the technical talking points on tomorrow's race.
It changed a lot. Probably the surface is still the same as in the past, over 20 years ago. And that's one of the things, you know, the series became so limited that the teams became so tight. That's why the competition is super strong. So tire management is the key now, not so much about speed, but make sure that you have a car that it can go a long distance.
How good has your car been over the course of the season with tire management?
You know, it's been interesting. Not the best. We've been working very hard with Andretti Autosport, trying to understand. We can get a few laps quick, but it drop off sometimes is a little bit stronger. Here's going to be a great testament and another test for us to continue to pursue the perfect setup.
This is actually a track you got to run last year. How important is having that experience coming to a track for the second time in an IndyCar?
Funny enough, the car is completely different. So for us as a team...
Why? Why is it different?
Because we had the partnership with Carlin afterwards. That changed a lot, the fundamentals of what we have. And then over time, we've obviously, from where we had the car at the beginning of the year, we've just attacked it to refine it in the best way possible with what we have, because we don't have a lot. You know, it's not like we can just turn up with some magic set of dampers. We have 2.5 sets of dampers, and one of those is for oval.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we're limited on that side, and we've just been refining it, and that's the difference between qualifying in 19th at St. Pete to then qualifying at 7th at Toronto on a street circuit. It's just refining what we had and getting it right. I haven't had any simulator prep throughout the year. We didn't have access to a sim. We turned up to Toronto, you know, without sim, without this. People know, but they don't know, you know, the battle that we've had. So we're working with what we got. It's not really because we haven't got the money or whatever. It's the time and the people. You know, we run with borderline what's close to necessary, because it was so hard to find the right people to do it. So we got what we needed through the Carlin partnership to be necessary and operate. But now it's about going above and beyond, and I think after the off-season we'll attack it more. So to answer your question, as a driver I'm more comfortable and coming back really more relaxed here, and after Portland as well, having another solid result, it's nice to get back in the rhythm. I know at the test last week we had a good car, just about tired egg here, and if we can overcome that, I think the race is going to be good.
Yeah, I think the big thing from a driving standpoint, you know, especially here with a lot of like longer, you know, medium speed corners and a couple, you know, big acceleration zones like out of the last corner and out of turn one, you're really going to ask a lot from the rears. So the big thing is like just minimizing slip on the rear tires, because, you know, there's a lot of combined load in there when you're accelerating and still cornering. So like anything you can do to not get wheel spin, not get the rear sliding around, because every time that happens, you know, you're abrading some of the tire, B, heating the tire up, which then might tip it over to where it loses grip, then you're going to slide more, and it's kind of a downward spiral, right? So you just want to keep the rears under you as much as you can. And then whatever you can do in the cockpit with your anti-roll bars to like manage the balance so that it's not going, you know, one way or the other.
So, Laguna Seca, one race to go. It's the last day of school here, or will be the last day of school. I honestly think Callum Ilot's going to be a pretty good shout for the race. They managed to get the red tires quick. They were scrubbed reds on the qualifying run. And I think if he's got the pace to challenge Will Power again only has to finish third in the race. So my thought process is Will Power, if he's at all challenged by Callum, just let Callum go. Or maybe Will Power will go balls to the wall and try to win it. I don't know. I think the key is going to be reliability. We know the Chevrolets have struggled a little bit with reliability throughout the year. Will Power's one of the few drivers at Team Penske who hasn't had engine issues yet. I don't want to put that out into the world, but I think it's worth mentioning because that could be the determining factor in the championship, an engine failure. That's about as old school as it gets. So, we'll be talking tomorrow about whatever happens in the IndyCar Championship deciding race here at Laguna Seca. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more motorsport content, and I will see you in the next video.